Welcome to Entrepreneurship at Rowan, an official production of the award-winning Rowan Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. We cover the entrepreneurial pulse of Rowan students, faculty, and alumni, prepared to be Rowan proud.
Welcome to Season 2 of Entrepreneurship at Rowan. I'm your host, Joe Sokolowski. I want to know more about the flourishing entrepreneurial ecosystem in and around Rowan today. I'll be joined by a collection of professionals in the entrepreneurial investment space to hear their experience in the field and help you become a better entrepreneur. Today I'll be joined by Michael Josephs, who is an Executive Vice President from Townsquare Media. Townsquare Media is a publicly traded media company providing digital marketing services and advertising solutions with a portfolio of over 330 websites and radio stations focused outside the top 50 U.S. markets. Here in New Jersey, they're probably best known for New Jersey 101.5. The company recently launched a corporate venture fund and are actively looking to support entrepreneurs in the early stage ecosystem right here in our own backyard. Thanks for being with us today and talking about this exciting initiative, Michael.
Thanks, Joe. Great. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, it's awesome to have you here and can't wait to hear more about what you guys are doing. So I guess just to jump right into it, launching a venture fund is an exciting expansion to your own business model with all the radio stations and all the other things, services you offer. What prompted you guys to pursue the strategy?
So it's a great question, and I'm glad you asked to start us off here. And I must say that I really enjoyed getting to know Rowan again. I grew up in Central Jersey, and this is certainly not the same institution that I remember when I was a high school senior or that age, and sort of thinking about colleges. I mean, the innovation and the change that really seems to stem from the top of the organization there down with you guys at Rowan has really been impressive. And so I just wanted to offer that at the beginning. I'm sure we'll get into more of that a little bit later. But as it relates to Townsquare, we have from the very beginning of our company. We're about a dozen years old now today. We have been focused exclusively on secondary and tertiary markets around the country. Some people call them flyover states. Some people call them, the heartland or markets like that. But local communities where high school sports and Board of Education decisions and new store openings and political contests that may not make the national headlines, but impact people's lives every single day. We have found these are phenomenal markets to create businesses, grow businesses, and that's really what we've done from the very beginning is to try and find these markets where we can super serve our communities. We started, and our company has really been built through a series of acquisitions. And as you said, we started with radio. If you think about the fundamentals of radio, there being a rock-solid, stable audience and listening base, an installed base of small businesses, medium-sized businesses in each of these markets that rely on and have relied on historically the local radio stations to drive adoption, to drive awareness, to drive engagement. And as importantly for us, live and local talent who live in these markets, breathe these markets, and understand what's going on. To us, that was a phenomenal set of assets and sandbox through which to build another business, a whole series of businesses. And that's actually what we've done. So we started, again, in radio, and we built out a digital business, both on the content side. So today we create, 30,000 pieces of original content across our entire ecosystem on a monthly basis. We've built an entire marketing services business, and that was built from scratch organically. So think about it as a startup inside of a publicly traded company, where today we serve close to 30,000 small businesses from a marketing perspective. So we help them either build their websites, make sure from a search engine optimization perspective that they're positioned properly, they're discoverable in all facets, in directories and the like, or through search. We spend so much time in these markets, and one of the things that we recognize, and we're not the only people who have recognized this, but 70 to 75% of all venture capital goes to traditional hubs, that being the Bay Area, New York City, or in Boston. So if you're a talented entrepreneur and you graduate from Rowan and you want to go and build your business, the easiest path to success for most of those entrepreneurs is to go chase the capital in one of those investment hubs and then build the business in those investment hubs, which is all well and good. And that's great. And there's plenty of capital out there chasing and to be invested in companies being built in those markets. We have always tried to take the sort of the counter approach and to say, okay, we are sitting in a really unique position to change that dynamic and to actually invest in entrepreneurship, invest in businesses in our markets where we have this expansive marketing footprint and we know the communities. And if we can keep the entrepreneurs and the businesses they build in these markets, guess what? That's going to drive job growth. That's going to drive local tax base increase and revenue for those local communities. It's going to create energy and excitement. And that will benefit not just that business, but in theory, our entire client base in that market. One day, we're hoping to grow potentially future clients. But as we do that, we're helping to build those local markets and build the strength in those ecosystems. So we really think we're in this unique position to impact these communities. These are communities that we live in, our people breathe in every single day, they're from there, and they're important to us. So we want to just invest in that next phase of growth and building entrepreneurship.
Sure. Yeah, I know. I mean, just from that quick story you said there, it sounds like you guys are very venture capital folk. Like you were a venture capital company to kind of begin with. That was where your roots came from. So it makes sense that you'd start this. And to your point there, that to keep the funding in the local economies, I think that's such an important point because you see all this funding going out to the Bay Area or the big cities, but it's so important to keep the other smaller economies strong. So it's awesome that you started it. One of the reasons we really wanted to talk to Townsquare in specific is because it sounds like you guys are going to have or foster a very unique symbiotic relationship between Townsquare and the companies you invest with, because you want to help them grow and they can hopefully help you get the word out. So could you talk more about some of the tools and things you offer other than investment to entrepreneurs that come to you?
There are a number of what some may call ancillary benefits. To me, I call strategic benefits for us being on the cap table. As I stated earlier, there are few companies that understand these size markets like we do. We have invested millions of dollars and hundreds of thousands of man hours to build a data platform where we understand the psychographic and demographic of our audience, people who listen to us over the air, people who visit our websites, people who go to our apps, people who buy tickets to our events. We have this really interesting view of Middle America in particular, and we've built our own suite of sort of first-party data products. We have a data management platform where we leverage that for all of our account executives from a sales perspective and to our clients from a targeting perspective. But I think one of the benefits of working with us is our understanding of their end market. Now, they may be based in South Jersey, but trying to reach consumers all over the world or all over the country. That's fine. It's how do we leverage their own data? How do we leverage our data? And how do we bring that to bear? So one would be access to data and understanding data. Two would be access to businesses and other like ventures. So, for example, I mentioned earlier, we have part of our business is called Townsquare Interactive, where we provide web presence solutions for close to 30,000 small businesses today. So if you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to reach small businesses, whether you've built a new SaaS platform or you've built a fintech business targeting small businesses, we're going to be able to hopefully hypercharge your initial go-to-market efforts. So what we're looking for, and I think what entrepreneurs will find when they work with us, is we're going to hone in on those specific levers of their growth model that we, in particular, can tip the scales in their favor. So if it's access to consumers or if it's access to small businesses, those are areas where we're truly going to focus. And I think those are some of the ancillary benefits that an entrepreneur would find with us. The other thing I would add is just general business building. How do you construct a go-to-market strategy? How do you construct a team? How do you think about your first hire, your second hire? So it's not just marketing, but it's just general business building. As I mentioned earlier, we've built several businesses inside of our own public company, and we have a ton of experience and expertise, whether it's HR, it's finance, it is supplier relationships, vendor relationships. And what we know is that entrepreneurs, when they're starting out, everyone makes mistakes at all stages of life and all stages of business. The difference is at the earliest stage, if you can avoid some of those early pitfalls, you're going to have a greater chance of success. So our goal is to truly be a strategic partner, not just invest capital, not just provide marketing services, but to truly be a partner to the entrepreneurs and provide that kind of mentorship.
Yeah, definitely. I know like a lot of the other groups we speak to, they talk about how they offer professional experience in the field. And like you're saying there, I think you guys have that professional experience in the growth industry. So to be able to add that to a startup is phenomenal.
Yeah. And it's not for everybody. It's not for all startups. And importantly, it's not for all entrepreneurs. Some believe they've got it all figured out and they're going to, and that's great. It's that sort of maniacal mindset of I know the way and I'm going to get it done, which is that drive that you look for. But you do also want to have someone, and that's something we look for when we're evaluating companies, is this entrepreneur, is he or she coachable? Is he or she open-minded to a different perspective? We want that drive and we need that determination, that grit to get something done. But are they open-minded enough to recognize that maybe they can't see around every corner and just open to advice?
So primarily, our audience here is the Rowan University Entrepreneurship Group. And many of them are looking to make and scale their own ventures. So could you talk about some of the investments that Townsquare looks to make? Yeah,
so we are, from an investment perspective, we've got a pretty broad purview in terms of sector or business type that we would find interesting. So it's probably easier to say things that we wouldn't invest in than we would. A life science is not something that we necessarily would be able to add value to, or the next LiDAR system, not necessarily something we're going to add value to. Both great opportunities, but just not for us. I would say we're focused on consumer products. So, either a new product or a new service targeting end users, or a new product or service targeting businesses. More on the SMB to mid-sized businesses, not necessarily enterprise class, but that could be fintech, it could be prop tech, it could be insurtech, but really, consumer-y type businesses. We will invest cash. We'll invest, call it $100,000 to $1 million, $1.5 million. We're investing off of our own balance sheet, so we're not really captive to any other LPs or anything like that. I would say we're focused on the earliest stage, so seed to Series A, and I think that the key is, from a business perspective, we love small businesses, we love bakeries, we love restaurants, we love things like that. Those are great. And they're great to have to build for yourself and your family, and they're wonderful businesses. Those are not the types of businesses that we would be investing in. We're really looking for something with a high growth potential, really large addressable market, where while we are investing off our own balance sheet, we are looking for, real material returns. So the exit opportunity needs to be large enough, and the scale needs to be there. So that's a little bit about some of the things that we're looking for.
Okay.
And then I guess the last thing, and it shouldn't be the last thing, because I think it's important for entrepreneurs to know and to think through, is we are pretty creative in our deal making. And one thing that we've done for a handful of companies, and we would look to do appropriately for certain startups, is to trade marketing in exchange for equity.
Okay.
So if a company is interested in reaching an end customer base, we've identified that audience and we're helping them. We know that either they can leverage our radio stations or our digital media properties, or the 75 million people that we reach digitally on a monthly basis. We can trade some marketing in exchange for an equity position. That can be in addition to a cash investment. So we can do both and be pretty flexible.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty unique aspect you guys offer there. I haven't heard that before. So you've already kind of highlighted the different businesses you're looking to invest in. Could you offer some advice maybe for a prospective applicant looking to come to you guys for an investment?
The one thing I would say is, reach out, because you don't know unless you ask. So we're here to be supportive. We're here to drive entrepreneurship and to help entrepreneurs. Not every venture works, right? That's why it's venture capital. That's why you look for huge returns, because those that do need to make up for the ones that don't. But even if it's not a successful venture, the hope is that you as the entrepreneur have learned something, and we as an investor have learned something along the way. So I'm always focused on finding people that are curious and have the drive, because that's not something you can teach, to actually get it done. So don't be shy. Ask for advice. Ask for a meeting. We're always happy to engage. And if we're not a good fit for you, or you're not a good fit for us, the hope is that we can hopefully pass you on to somebody else who is, or at a minimum give you some feedback to help you either change direction or not change direction, but think about a new avenue for potential investment.
And now just a follow-up question to that. Let's say here that there's a company that does approach you and they look okay, but maybe they're not ready. They're not quite ready for an investment. I know you're a very new group, new fund. So do you think you would offer anything to them, but and say maybe come back in a couple of years when you're ready for that investment?
100%. I mean, I think part of what we want to do, and part of what we think will differentiate us, and I think there's a real need in markets of our size and scale. So, markets like Atlantic City, markets like Trenton, markets like Buffalo, New York, or Albany, New York, or Grand Rapids, Michigan. Those are markets like ours. I think not only the investment dollars not necessarily there, but the education and the scaffolding around which or through which you can actually build a business. So we're going to offer not just mentorship, but open office hours and other ways to engage. So yes, if now's not the right time, that's okay. Here's 3 ideas. If you hit these 3 things, why don't you come back to us and show us what you've done? So we're always open to build those long-term relationships and provide feedback and guidance and support along the way.
How could the Rowan community apply and get more information about what you guys are doing?
Yeah, so it's pretty straightforward. We have a website, Townsquare-ventures.com. That's the easiest way. It just gives a quick overview of who we are and our strategic focus, and there's ways to apply there. The other way, just email me. It's very simple. Michael@townsquaremedia.com, and just reach out and again, if it is of the right size and scale and scope that makes sense for us, we're happy to dig in. And if it's not, I'm sure we can give some constructive feedback and help you along the way.
All right. Well, Michael, thank you so much for giving us some insight into Townsquare and Townsquare Ventures. And I wish you guys and all the startups that approach you the best. I think it's going to be a great opportunity for all. So thanks again.
Thanks, Joey. Appreciate it.
To recap, Townsquare is a prominent digital media and radio company that is entering the venture capital space. Their unique investment criteria offer a great opportunity for both the entrepreneur and the investor to create value for one another and worth checking out. To learn more about them, you can visit their website at townsquare-ventures.com.
Thank you for listening. Rowan is proud to be an official knowledge hub of the International Council for Small Business. Our AACSB award-winning entrepreneurship programs challenge students to solve real problems in bold and impactful ways. If you're interested in supporting entrepreneurship at Rowan or want to get more involved by hiring an intern, speaking to a class, or being featured as a case study, contact us at rcie@rowan.edu.